Welcome to Mastering Innovation Together with Scott Turriff of Galt and Chris Koomey of Thorben Consulting. And entrepreneurs are a big part of the U.S. economy. And I know some people have financed their businesses with their personal credit. I remember one time I went into a hotel and a guy came out with a stack of like 30 credit cards. And basically he had to keep giving them one to figure out which one would pay for the hotel, because he basically bootstrapped his way in his business with all these cards. Now, the credit card companies don't like you doing that. They've also changed the rules where even in bankruptcy that you have to pay a portion of that back, which was different than back in the 80s and 90s. So people have always been using their personal credit. How can we make that shift from the personal credit cards to building credit in your business?
You made a really good point, because over my experience in my businesses, a lot of times I've brought in a partner. I brought in somebody else because I didn't think that I had the certain necessities or a certain knowledge to be successful in the business alone. So I brought somebody in. And what I realized a couple times when I brought somebody else in, that person I brought in didn't have any money. And he signs his personal guarantee. We sign my personal guarantee. Who are they going to go after? They're going after the one with the most money. They're not going after the one with no money. They're going after the one with the most money. And what I want to do is, when we start to see how to utilize this credit, I can't say how many times I think it's a genius move. And it's just getting people to take a leap of faith and say, okay, I'm going to take a look at this and walk through the process to see what it is. And what happens if it works for me, because you're already doing the same thing. And like you say before, this guy's using his credit card and everything else. Guess what? I'm pretty sure that his name's attached to those credit cards. And when you look at a company credit card, it can say it's a corporate credit card. But if your name's attached to it, it's truly not a corporate credit card. So there's all these little avenues out here where they say, I'm giving you a corporate credit card, but yet you're still attached to it.
Yeah, you touch on kind of a really important lesson. And back in my lawyer days, when I first got started, I'd have people that had never been in business all came with partners. People that had been in business for 20 years wanted no part of partners. And part of it is people, it's the confidence. When they're getting started, they don't have the confidence that they can do it. But then you find out that you're basically limited by the limitations of everybody else. Whereas once you figure it out on yourself, you have your own confidence. You're the person whose name is on the line. Then you have more motivation to go forward with more energy to do and build the business the way you want, as opposed to being subject to someone else. And your point about having a partner that has no credit just means that you're the sole partner anyway.
Yeah, you took the whole risk yourself. And one instance that I had a feed company that I was selling feed to dairy farmers for, and it was in Susquehanna, Pennsylvania was the headquarters, and I was in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And I was taking care of the whole Midwest. And I was worried about my division, making sure that it was running, and I owned part of the company, and I was doing very well. And when I come to find out, my division was running the whole company. The other guy was just drowning in debt. And then one day I got a rude awakening, and they said, by the way, the company's in trouble. And I'm like, how can that be? My division's doing great. Well, yeah, because I was too focused on my division. And the same point is, it was all running because of me. And that's what you say before, when you made the great comment, is like, you're the sole owner already. So why are you bringing on a partner? You can hire somebody for that advice nowadays, instead of taking somebody else for free because they don't have any credit. Doesn't make sense. And what it really is, Chris, it's a mindset.
Absolutely.
That makes you feel comfortable that you're okay because you have a partner to fall back on. Well, not necessarily if the partner doesn't have any money.
And it also gets to the other side. As people are partners, one of the things that I saw was people always felt like their contribution was the most important and their partner's contribution wasn't helping the business. And it created kind of the swirl of resentment. And basically people stopped being productive.
Right.
And that hurts the business, because then all of a sudden the revenue goes down, you're not paying your bills. So you do need to really take ownership of this as an individual business owner.
Right. And then when you're not paying your bills, and if you have your credit card signed up, your name's on it. And that's the key. Is I don't think people realize how often that they sign a personal guarantee and get confused because of the corporate veil. Don't worry, you can't come after me. Okay, maybe somebody can't come after you, but the lender will come after you because your name's on it. So it's kind of like a false belief that if you have an LLC or you have an S corp, a C corp, or whatever it is, that you're protected from creditors. You're not if your name's on it.
Yeah. And one of the things that's really happened in the 21st century is that the whole risk reward has been flipped. And the goal was always kind of manage your risk for a higher reward. And as you sign these 38-page documents that you never read, you're taking enormous risk for very little reward. And we've kind of come to accept that's just normal. That's the way it is. But that's what I love about kind of the Jay Galt approach, is that you can take control of that and not just be willing to accept what someone else is willing to give you.
It's a perfect example. And the banker out there is doing his job, or she's doing their job. They're all doing their job because they have to cover the bank's liabilities, and they have to make sure the bank's covered. So the bank is going to get everything they possibly can from you. And as an entrepreneur, what I want to do is I want to give them the least amount of money they possibly deserve. And so it's a battle between the entrepreneur and the bank to sit back and say, okay, I'm worthy. This company's worthy of XYZ dollar amount in a line of credit without me personally guaranteeing it. But then what you have to do is you have to prove it to them. And that's where I made my mistake, is I never proved that my corporations were a good credit risk, because I was the credit risk. They gave me credit because of me, not because of the corporation that was making all the money. It was because I was paying my bills, and there was money there. So what I want to do is let's flip this. Let's take your name off of it, and let's put your name into the corporation. Let's say this corporation is a self-sufficient machine, which it already is, but take your name off the hook. And then the neat part is you'll probably go out there and, I would say, get more aggressive, because once again, your name's not on the hook. Now you can be more aggressive to build that company and get more revenue and be stronger, because that's what this is about. It's the excitement that what business credit can do for you. Look at it from the point of view that it's going to change the way that you look at business. Because if sometimes I don't want to go out there and get $1 million line of credit with my name on it. But what happens if I got a $500,000 line of credit, so self-sustained by the corporation? Guess what? I'm going to get more hungry and go for more and build it, and the company will be stronger for it.
Yeah, and the way the laws works now, it's been very clear. Corporations have always been like a separate entity, but the law has made it even clearer that they have independent rights. They have freedom of speech. There's a lot of things that independent entity has. So you have children. When you have children, you care for them and try to make them able to do better in life. When you set up a company, a corporation or a limited liability company, it's basically like another kid.
Yeah.
And you don't want it to be the kid that's moving back into the basement.
Right.
And eating all your groceries. You want to be the kid that's going to be sending you on vacation somewhere.
Right. We want our kids to do that for us. And that's the part that I love about this. It's like teaching the methodology of having it stand alone. And then when it stands alone, I think it's going to create a stronger competition for you inside your business, because you're not afraid. You don't have this little thing in the back of your head saying, okay, if I lose this or something happens, I'm on the hook. What am I going to do now? I got to sell my boat. Do I got to sell my house or whatever? But at the same point, you're going to look at it and say, okay, you know what? Let's make this work inside the company, inside the corporation. And I think it will take the stress off of you, and you will probably make you a stronger company. Because I think sometimes when you get so big and you have to, let's say, like, I know people that got to buy new equipment, or they got to buy, they want to take their company to the next level. They got to go put all this money down on new equipment and then personally guarantee it. That's stress. Let's take the stress off and put it back into the company. And I think you'll see you'll look different. Because I mean, I'm working with my little small companies I got going on now, and I'm seeing a nice change of the mindset that I have. At first I thought, okay, people look at it as, well, it's not you, you're just going to lose the company. No, you want that company to succeed more and be stronger because of what you built. It's
Yeah.
a different mindset. It's a great mindset.
Yeah, just like your kids and your nephews and your nieces and your grandkids, and you want them all to be successful, and you need to take that same approach with the corporation. So, Scott Turriff, thanks for mastering innovation together with us today. So, Jay Galt, Scott Turriff at Jay Galt, S Turriff, 2 R's, 2 F's at jgalt.io. Thanks for mastering innovation together with us today. Thank you for mastering innovation together today with Thorben Consulting. This is Chris Koomey. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoy the show, if you have any comments, questions, or just want to learn more about what we do. Thanks for joining us.